Now, one of the simplest and most common ways to make a herbal remedy is in the form of an infusion, or if you're British, that basically means strong tea. Infusions are excellent for extracting the water-soluble constituents of a herb, but the hot water is also good at releasing the volatile oils, otherwise known as the essential oils, that are within the plant, and it's those oils which often give the greatest medicinal benefit. Infusions are best suited for herbs where you're using the more delicate parts of the plant, usually the bits that grow above the ground, such as the leaves, flowers and stems. If you're using the roots of a plant, then an infusion will usually not be sufficient to extract the needed properties of the plant. So you'll need something stronger like a decoction or a tincture, which I'll be covering in a separate video. Once the infusion's been made, you can drink it hot or cold and or apply it topically to the skin. You can also inhale the vapours, obviously depending on which herb you're using and what you're using it for. You can generally keep an infusion in the fridge for up to 24 to 36 hours, after which time you'll need to discard anything that's left over. Now, I can't stress enough the following point. The strengths of herbs vary considerably, so dosage is extremely important in herbalism and something you must be aware of. People tend to automatically think of herbs as foods and therefore assume that they're completely safe no matter how much you consume. But that's absolutely not true, and you can really do yourself some serious damage if you overdose on certain herbs. So it's really, really important that you never make an infusion or any other preparation from a herb if you don't have sufficient background information on it and understand its potential strength. Okay, so here's how to make a herbal infusion. First of all, place your herb into a ceramic or glass pot. A small teapot is ideal. Use about 2 teaspoons of dried herb or about 1 ounce of fresh herb for each cupful of water that you use. Next, pour on water that's just off the boil. Now, it's important to note that when the hot water is added, the volatile oils can start to disperse into the air, so use a lid or a plate to cover it straight away, and then let it infuse for at least 10 minutes, preferably 15. This is the difference between making a cup of tea and an infusion. For tea, most people will leave a tea bag in for no more than a few minutes. But for a herbal infusion, it's that 10 to 15 minutes steeping time that turns it into a genuine remedy rather than just a cup of flavoured water. Once that 10 to 15 minutes has passed, pour the resulting infused water into a cup, use a tea strainer if you need to, and drink it. Now, some herbs may taste a bit bitter, so you can sweeten the infusion with a spoonful of honey. And later on, if you become more knowledgeable, you can mix in other herbs such as lemon or mint to make the taste more enjoyable. As a general rule of thumb, the effective dosage of a herbal infusion is around 3 to 6 cups a day, depending on the severity of the ailment being treated. Of course, there are exceptions to this rule, as I mentioned earlier, so again, I must stress the fundamental importance of understanding the properties and the strengths of each herb that you work with.